So the next one is the Dying Devotee's Bill of Rights. Everybody actually in the whole universe deserves these Bill of Rights when they're dying. But this I kind of molded for devotees. I have the right to, well, do we want to go around the room and just kind of, let's go around this table. Can you speak loudly and read number 1 and 2 like that? Oh. Thanks.
I have the right to participate in decisions concerning my care.
The patient has every right. I want this, I don't want that.
I have the right to be free from pain.
As realistically as possible given my disease condition. It's not always possible to have zero pain. Okay, but we try to make the lessen the pain as much as possible. And that can either be with medications by the licensed hospice staff, and then they train the family or the caregivers.
I have a question about that. Does that alter their consciousness to the point that they might not be able to meditate on Krishna to the degree they might want?
Yeah, it's a common question. Thank you so much. Thank you. If that's also a myth that hospice gives all these drugs and you're zonked out and snockered and you can't even chant. Most likely at the end, the actively dying stage, 24 to 72 hours before you leave your body, given most diseases, you're not going to be able to respond, even blinking your eyes. Okay, it's very rare. Mother Kalini did have one example of a devotee that left in Vrindavan that was able, she was eating and speaking and chanting in just a half hour of that actively dying stage, and that was it, she left. So some go quickly, but most of the time it's 24 to 48 hours of not being able to speak, and people say, oh, they're in a coma or they're unconscious. In the Bhagavatam it says the hearing is the last sense to leave, and doctors also, and scientists and nurses also understand hearing is the last sense to leave. So if these medications for pain are given correctly by trained hospice staff, a good hospice doctor, and a good hospice nurse will know how to keep the patient as comfortable as possible, given their disease, and to titrate it, to raise it as needed if they build a tolerance to that medication, and be as lucid and clear thinking as possible. It is possible to do that if they know what they're doing. There's also a chapter in the Final Journey about complementary therapies. Not, you can do massage, there's aromatherapy, there's guided imagery, there's all kinds of other things you can do along with the pain medications if they need the pain medicines that will keep the patient comfortable. And they may need less of the pain medicine if you do these complementary therapies along with the meds. Make sense? Does that answer your question? I mean, I can't say, if it's given.
I don't want to get all technical, no. I really don't know what the patient's going through.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. We don't know what their consciousness is ultimately at the end. But I know for a fact that if it's given correctly, they are not feeling, all. And if they have these side effects, like I myself am allergic to most pain medicines. I don't know what's going to happen with me. But, if they gave me hallucinating out of my mind, So I can't take, so if they have that side effect to a certain medication, they're going to get them off of it. They're not going to keep them on it so that they're hallucinating and seeing and hearing things. Right? And mostly every devotee I know, even there was one elderly devotee, she lived in Vrindavan, and she was dying in the summer, and there were no caregivers there, so she came back to Philadelphia to leave, and she got to leave in front of her guru, and Mother Kalini and I were there also, and she was dead set against taking anything before she got cancer. But when the cancer came, the first thing she did was have her daughter call me and say, what can I get? What can I take? I mean, she was dead when she actually reviewed the Final Journey manuscript and wrote a comment, and she said to me, I would never take morphine. I said, why not? She said, because it's toxic. And I said, so is cancer. Okay, so she wound up not on morphine, but a lower, lesser opioid, that kept her as comfortable as possible given her disease, along with other complementary therapies. Her guru wound up reading Chaitanya Charitamrita to her for 3 hours. We had a bhajan and she left. It was glorious stuff. But yet, how the reason why the physical needs, when we talk about holistic care, and the emotional needs, spiritual needs, social needs, physical needs, if you're writhing in pain in bed, chant Hare Krishna for real. I'd be like, away from me, I'm like in agony here. Control my pain first and then talk to me about emotional and spiritual needs. Right? There's a lot of heads nodding, just help me with this. So you'd be surprised how many devotees say, I would never take allopathy, never, until they're in that place. And like I said, if given correctly, they're not going to be out of it. Of course, we never know the consciousness of keeping, but hopefully we're doing it right. Okay, next one.
I have the right to have my questions answered honestly.
Yeah. If you start lying to the patient, they're not going to trust you. You're going to lose their trust immediately. Next one.
I have the right not to be deceived.
Right, same thing. Okay, 5.
I have the right to express my feelings and emotions about my approaching death.
Yeah, and they need to feel comfortable. They need to trust you. They need to know, that I can express anything I'm feeling right now, even if it's doubts about my Krishna consciousness, even if it's doubts about spiritual life, even if they're angry at Krishna for giving them this disease. And they need to know that you're going to keep it confidential and not put it on Dandavats. I would just be mortified. If I started revealing my mind on my deathbed and all of a sudden it shows up on the internet. We get into confidentiality later, but they have the right to express whatever they're feeling, and know that you're not going to spread it around the world. Next one.
I have the right to discuss and expand my spiritual realizations during this dying process.
Yeah. 7.
I have the right to die in the environment I choose.
Yeah, somebody wants to die at home, somebody wants to die, in a temple room, somebody, wherever. They want to go into the hospital because they feel safe there. We can't judge them. Next.
I have the right to die with dignity.
Everybody has the right to die with dignity. Keep their privacy in many ways. Physical privacy, mental privacy, emotional privacy. Next one.
I have the right to expect my wishes to be respected regarding what will happen to my body after death.
Yeah. Number 10.
I have the right to have help for my family in accepting my death.
Both before and after my death. So that goes back to the patient and the family are one unit. Everyone's cared for. Next one.
I have the right to be cared for by caring, sensitive, knowledgeable people who will attempt to understand my needs and will gain satisfaction in helping me face my death.
Yeah, I can't imagine anything worse than feeling like you're bothered. You're bothered. They're doing it because they have to. Everybody deserves to be cared for like this. Okay, and any lesser treatment of the dying Vaishnava would be an enormous injustice. Enormous injustice. There are the Prabhus. Okay, next one. Living.